Hi guys, hope you're having a great evening. Sheila with Hatfield McCoy Museum and Adventures and FS Investigates.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Notice that picture in the background. Tomorrow, hopefully,
We'll have some.
well, it
Well,
won't be tomorrow. It will be today while you're watching this video. Stay tuned on this video. It's going to be two parts. You're going to see us now, and then you'll see us again tomorrow. Big announcements tomorrow, hopefully. Those troopers, those people in the background, hopefully will be identified tomorrow. Sheila will probably have their names tagged onto them or an arrow pointing to them or something like that.
yeah,
So
we'll have it labeled somehow.
big news coming.
If it works out.
If it's the Lord's will.
Right.
If it works out like we're hoping it does. So stay tuned for the back of this video because it will be in two sections.
Yep.
We just want to make a real fast video here to throw on to the front of it.
Okay.
And just put out a couple of announcements.
Okay.
And where we're at. And guys, we love everybody.
Sure.
Now, it may not sound like it sometimes because I can get right. Just because a person gets right doesn't mean that they don't love somebody or that they don't, they're not Christian-like or whatever. It may not be, it may not make God proud, but sometimes, look at Peter and some of the disciples that he had. I'm not a disciple, but I'm saying some of them sometimes showed a different personality. And that's me. Sometimes I speak up. Sometimes I'm outspoken. Doesn't mean I don't like people or love people, but sometimes we have to hold people's feet to the fire.
Okay.
Now, we love hearing from people on our channel. We love hearing on the comments. But I want to clarify, Sheila and I want to clarify something. We're in no way, this Johnny Edrington case, please don't contaminate it like everybody has. Poor old Doug Harless case.
Yeah.
Doug Harless was a victim, still a victim. He'll always be a victim.
That's right.
No matter what. If everything turns out like we've always heard when we first started investigating that case, Mr. Harless is a victim. And now he's been victimized again because people have turned his tragedy into a political thing.
And we are not political.
The outcome will come of that. And how you handle things like that is during election times and stuff. But that's why we don't cover the Doug Harless case, because it got too political. Everybody's into it seems like. And I'm going to tell you, Sheila said a while back, we don't have a dog in the fight. And you're going to see here in a minute, I'll show you we don't have a dog in the fight on some of the main characters that's not getting along there in London right now. But we just want to make this little brief 2-minute segment here that says we're not political in the London, Laurel County area. We don't live there. We don't own businesses there. We love London. We used to think London was one of the finest communities there was. If I was ever going to live somewhere, it would be London, because we think London's a beautiful little town and good people. Now, politics is dirty. Politics is ugly. And it brings out the worst in people. Everybody. It just brings out the worst. I'm not taking up for no sides here.
Right.
Sheila and I are not political. We get comments that says, what's your email, what's your phone number, what's this and that, and then we're thinking people's going to send us something dealing with Johnny or Johnny's case, and then it's something else. And I'm sorry, but we're not interested. We're just not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Right.
We're not going to do it. Johnny Edrington was killed. He was murdered. And now he's been slandered. And we want to solve that case. And with the good Lord guiding us and the people that's helping us, we're the group, everybody that's involved, not Sheila and I,
right.
The group, the good Lord mainly, and then the group that he sent to us, the people, We're going to solve this case. But I wanted to put that out there. It's not about politics. No matter where our investigation leads us, it's not about politics. We're not trying to make one person look better than the other or one person look worse. We don't even care. That's up to, they'll handle that in London. Now, we will not allow this case to deter us from, or to look like we're political. We don't want people. We want people to come to us with information about Johnny Edrington, about what happened to Johnny Edrington December the 20th, 1988.
Exactly.
Discuss other troopers coming to the Edrington family's aid. Guys, you know, I'm rough on Kentucky State Police sometimes because they was rough on Sheila and I during that search for the I-75 shooter, Mr. Couch. And I'm rough on them sometimes, but I've worked with troopers for years and years, for 40 years. There's some good troopers out there. Most of the ones I worked with are retired now, but there's some good troopers. There's good and bad and everything. We have some good troopers stepping up with Sheila and I right now. Former troopers and active troopers that wants to help solve this case. They want to be part of it.
Right.
When this case is done, if it's solved, they can say, hey, we were there. We helped. One announcement we had here is we're going to be putting up a cross at the spot where Johnny was murdered. We're going to be doing that here pretty soon. And we're going to put a cross up there and with Johnny's name on it and so forth. That's where he died at. There should have been one up there years ago. You would have thought that people of that community, of that county, would have put one up. Everybody gets busy. And they get sidetracked. They get sidetracked with rumors. And rumors, and people know how rumors are. Rumors can be
hurtful.
And Sheila and I thought for 35 years that was a S side, because that's what we heard. Now we know that it wasn't. So we heard what was wrong. And maybe that's why right back here is there'll be a crossover in there pretty soon. Maybe that's why nobody put one up. They thought, well, we don't want to put a cross up for our S side. Well, we can confirm it's not S side. Big surprise on the cross. There's going to be a big surprise on the cross. Surprise. In remembrance of Johnny, but in honor of the family. And this is dealing with Kentucky State Police that you may see in the background there. And you'll see what it is when we'll do a video when we put the cross up and let you see and tell you about the little memento. Guys, still looking for information. Still looking for the killer or killers. Yeah.
Yep.
When we found I-75 shooter Joseph Couch, former KSP trooper Jimmy Phelps reached out to Sheila and I, as did Mayor Weddle there in London.
Right.
And that's why we say we don't have a dog in this fight. You know, we didn't even realize it till a while back. We was going through for tax purposes and going through the checks. And then we look at a note that was sent with one of the checks and it's signed Jimmy Phelps. And we thought, how nice, because Jimmy wrote to us, hey, Fred and Sheila, thank you for your assistance to our community during such a stressful time for everyone. Good luck in the future and hope you all have a good holiday season. May God continue to bless you both.
Through the year.
Through the years?
Through
your lives.
Through your lives. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. There. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, you can't. It's not showing up. It's Too bright.
Sheila may have to put that at the back of the video.
Yeah, sorry.
And you know, after, well, it was before that, that the mayor was on TV, and that's the one he gave us. Sheila will show it at the back. The one Jimmy had there was $15,000. That was from Crime Stoppers, Lowell County
Mhm.
Crime Stoppers, and United Way of London, I think it was.
Yeah,
$15,000, 10 from one and 5 from the other.
right.
The check from Mayor Weddle from WB Transport was for $10,000. How could Sheila and I take sides with anybody? How could we be mean to either party?
Right.
You know, those guys done exactly what they told the community, what they told the television news, what they told everybody.
Mhm.
We're going to give a reward
Yep. They followed through.
forever who finds this fella. Now, we didn't find Mr. Couch like we had hoped to. We'd hoped to find him alive and tell him nobody was dead and he'd give himself up. And that didn't
Mhm.
happen, but it did put the community to rest. And when that happened, we received a check for 15,000 from United Way and Crime Stoppers and 10,000 from the mayor, Jimmy Phelps, Mayor Weddle. Why would we take sides either way? We don't know either one of them other than
That encounter
that
there.
encounter there until the Doug Asher book came known to us.
Mhm.
And then Jimmy Phelps's name came up again as one of the police officers that was involved in that case, that investigated, helped to investigate that case, him and his brother, Johnny. I'm getting to a point here.
Okay.
Jimmy Phelps, through Crime Stoppers and United Way of London, both men had kind words for us. We have a request of these two men, not for Sheila, nor I, not for anyone on this team that's helping us right now, that's trying to help us get to the bottom and solve this murder.
Yeah.
Bring Johnny's murderer or ers to justice. You know, way back when this first happened in 1988, the Kentucky State Police put out a reward, a $50,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of who killed Johnny Edrington.
Mm-hmm.
We can't find out if that's still active or not. We know who can, and that's Jimmy Phelps or Johnny Phelps. And we're asking those guys if they would to step up and check with the state police and see if that $50,000 reward is still active with the state police. And if it's not, could you talk to the correct people and get them to reactivate it? Get that $50,000 thrown back out there as a reward. We also like to see Jimmy Phelps persuade the Crime Stoppers board of directors, ever how that works. United Way, once again, just like they did on the I-75 shooter, we'd like to ask them to put up another reward for the arrest and conviction of the murderer or ers of Johnny Edrington, trooper.
Okay. What about if this person that's alleged to have done it or done it, whatever, however you want to say it, but they're deceased? Then what do they do on that part of it?
Well,
If it turns out that so and so did it, or
well, that's a
such and
good
such did
question. That's a good question. We hadn't thought that far through.
it. No.
Well,
Maybe
first of
they'll come up
all,
with something.
if you're paying an award,
Mhm.
a reward, it wouldn't be alleged. It would be somebody. If you're going to pay out that kind of money, they're going to have some knowledge, enough knowledge for an arrest and a conviction,
Okay.
And if the person is deceased, there would have to be such overwhelming evidence.
Mhm.
I don't believe the person is deceased, babe.
Okay. I
Or,
was just saying, I was just saying, like in our incidents where the gentleman was
well,
deceased.
in our
and-
incidents, I think they were just relieved that they found him.
Okay.
It was sad that he was found deceased, but the community, remember, Sheila, they had already called the governor, and Philip Burnett with the Kentucky State Police, the commissioner, had already called off the search in the Daniel Boone National Forest. The forest was open back up.
They were-
Anybody could go
yep.
in there and search if they wanted to. State police had been called out. They were only there that day that we went because we had asked them for 5 days. There's something going on here. Something's dead there. And when they saw us go up on the hill putting on our boots, then here they come. And then they heard you say you smelled something and so forth. The search in the woods had already been called off. That Mr. Couch that body would have never been found had God not led us there.
Right.
And I think that's why he did that for. I think Johnny Edrington's murderer or murderers are still alive. And I
Okay.
think they've bragged to people about it. They've spoke about it. They've commented about it. They've joked about it
So
to
they would
somebody.
know specifically
To somebody.
what.
Oh,
took
it would
place.
have to be overwhelming. It would have to be
Mhm.
enough evidence to
Okay.
convict. You can't just come up and say, well, I heard this or I heard that. I want the reward. It's
Mhm.
not how it works. I'll just tell you up front.
Yeah.
You want that reward, you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to give up some.
Details.
Of course, we don't want to leave anybody out. So we would like to ask Mayor Weddle of London to do the same thing that he done for the London community when the I-75 shooter was out there and when we were out there.
Hmm.
And we would ask him to put up as much as humanly possible. It looks like Mr. Weddle's been blessed in life, and he seems to be pretty free-hearted. So, Mayor, we'd like to ask you to also pitch in on this reward. Sheila and I would like for this reward to go with the 50,000 from the Kentucky State Police, whatever the Crime Stoppers give, and
Hmm.
United Way, whatever you give, and others. We'd like to see it go over $100,000. $100,000. The reward will state for the arrest and conviction of the person or persons responsible.
Okay.
It won't be just we heard this, we heard that. You got to testify if it goes to court. If the person pleads out, then you're done. You're probably not going to get a Christmas card from that person or those people, but you'll definitely be richer for it
Okay.
and probably feel better. Together, we can raise enough reward that it will be so tempting that someone comes forward.
Right.
Once again, no one who was led to help us, or no one that's volunteered to help us in any way on this case is eligible for any kind of reward. This will be somebody out of the blue that just comes up. They don't have to tell us. They can go to any credible law enforcement agency or officer.
Mhm.
We're going to give you the name later on of some officers that's helping us and active police officers. I'm retired. I have no jurisdiction. I have no legal authority to do anything. I'm a YouTuber. We're the news. We're the media. We ain't even fake, are we, babe? We try not to be.
Try not to be. Yeah.
In fact, the people who are bringing us, the people who are helping us, wouldn't want a reward, and that's the truth. Don't worry about nobody in our group that's helping on this case wanting a reward. They don't want it. They're like us. They want to do it just to see justice prevail for the Edrington family and for Johnny, an Army veteran.
Exactly.
And we believe we will see that eventually.
Yeah.
We also know successful business people that's called us with information and different things, and we'd like to ask them to also pitch in on this reward. No money up front. Nobody puts no money up front. It's just your promise that if a person was to ever turn in the murderer or the murderers of Johnny Edrington, and they go to court and they're found guilty, that the person that turned them in and testified or whatever they did gets that reward.
And it's only fair. I mean, that's
That may be the
just,
very reason they do it for.
yeah.
They may want to move out of Kentucky. They may want to go to Florida, California. They may want to just get away and start a new
over.
life.
Mhm.
And they can take that money. The higher it is, probably the more tempting it's going to be for somebody to start a new life and say, hey, I'll do it, but I've got to leave because people's going to be mad at me.
Yeah.
Someone criminally. that they're charged, and there's enough evidence to charge them criminally, and they either plead guilty or they're found guilty, and then they'll receive the money. Sheila and I are hoping the reward is over $100,000. Guys, if we make the reward so big that a person would turn in their mama for it, we want to make the reward so big that the person would turn in their mama
Or
get that kind of money.
or the mama will turn in the son or whoever.
I hadn't thought about it like that. Yeah, maybe mama turn in their son
She might.
if it's good enough. Mama may be living in Florida
Well,
or California or
doing what's right, but yeah.
Bahamas or Hawaii.
Yeah.
Anyone can contact Sheila and I, and we'll start a list. And all you got to do is pledge the amount you want to
Yeah.
give.
Mm-hmm.
No money's up front. Don't collect no money. That
Nope.
don't come until
Don't want to do that.
somebody's ever charged criminally. And to charge them, you're going to have some evidence. You can't just say, "I heard this, I heard that." You've got to have some evidence that this person done it. Please remember, we believe this case will be solved. So don't promise if you don't intend to follow through. If you don't care, it's easy to say, "Yeah, I'll pledge this or I'll pledge that," and it may never happen.
Mm-hmm.
We may never solve this case. We, meaning the people that's helping us and us, we know who can. That's right, baby. We know who can solve it. And so far, it seems like every time we reach a dead spot, every time that we say that's through, somebody will call, somebody will send a letter. We get letters where people wants to send information anonymously, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll postmark it. They'll put our address on it, and then they'll give it to somebody that's traveling out of state, vacation or whatever, and they'll drop it in a mailbox somewhere else, so it's postmarked. Guys, we're not going to track you down. We don't want to track nobody down. We want you to help freely and help because that's what you want to do, and
Right.
give the information. I had a guy the other day, and it was so funny. He says he watches every video, so if he does, he's going to see this one. But he was giving us information, and he said, "Don't put my name out there. Don't tell nobody who I am." I said, without missing a beat, I said, "Hey, what are you talking about? You're on live YouTube right now." He said, "What?"
Oh
Oh
my
God,
land, till you panicked.
it was so funny.
That person was
And
panicked to death.
he knows who he is, and he's laughing right
Mhm.
now, I'm sure. So, if someone stands up and turns in a friend or family member and they are convicted, we want them to know that their reward will be there.
Mm-hmm.
We are making progress every day.
You certainly are.
Many people have joined in with us to help, from detectives to state police to former state police to active police officers to the average citizen.
Mhm.
This has turned into quite the movement.
A team.
You'll see if some people just don't want attention. They just don't want no
That's okay.
gratitude.
That's
No,
good.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's what you call doing something for the right reason.
Yeah.
Continue to pray, and God will give us answers. It's all about prayer. We don't know what tomorrow holds, but we know who holds tomorrow.
That's right.
To all those who have helped us and are helping us but want to remain unnamed, you are our heroes, and thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Guys, that's going to be all. As soon
Wow.
as we stop here,
Mm-hmm.
it's just going to go dead, but you're going to be right back up, and we'll be into tomorrow or the next
whenever.
day, Saturday. And then we'll fill you in on if we got any news, what the news was, what the follow up. For those of you that likes following along on this case, we're hoping
More
that
to come.
we're hoping that we've got some more.
Yeah.
We just had some firsthand information that we read in the offense report a while
Right.
back.
Yeah.
And the fellow that supplied that to us, thank you. We can't thank him enough. He's
We appreciate it very much.
You got anything else for right now?
No. Until later, I guess.
See you
More to
tomorrow.
come.
See you in about 2 seconds because it's going to go from this to this.
Yeah. Hi, guys. Hope you're having a great evening. It's Fred and Sheila with Hatfield McCoy Museum and Adventures. and FS investigates.
I believe my leg is crooked on
I
my
believe
glasses.
it is now that you did that. I think
Yeah.
it's
Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us. Fred and Sheila coming at you live.
right.
Better than the other way, ain't it, babe?
Uh,
Guys, there should be a video in front of this one that you
Uh-huh.
just watched. We should be just coming right into this one.
right.
Sheila and I's had a very interesting day
Right.
meeting some great people during all this. We're meeting some great people, meeting some old troopers, old police officers, old people that was back during that time,
Uh-huh.
during the time of Johnny Edrington's death, and was actually there,
Uh-huh.
was actually in some of the pictures that's been in the newspapers, that's been on our videos. People that knows what went on, the people that knows what didn't go on. You know, in Lieutenant Colonel Asher's book, he said it was unanimous. It was overwhelming
Right.
evidence and unanimous that all the detectives that was there felt that it was a S side. He asked them that morning. They unanimously said, well, we know that's not true according to the offense report
Uh-huh.
that is signed by William Stewart. We know that's not true because William Stewart titled it Murder.
Uh-huh.
We won't go over the same stuff we've talked about, but I just want to. So that shows right there that it's not unanimous, or it doesn't correspond with what he titled his offense report, Kentucky Uniform Offense Report, as. And it doesn't correspond with other people we've talked to, including troopers from the past. You know, there's a video or a photo Sheila's going to show at the end here, and you can vaguely see, and I'm sorry to the Edrington family, they may have done seen it, but you can see where there's troopers standing there, and I think there's and you can see the cruiser, and you can see Trooper Edrington, silhouette of Trooper Edrington on the side of the highway in the
Uh-huh.
ditch,
Uh-huh.
down from his car. 108, Unit 108, KSP Unit 108, Trooper or Sergeant Dole. How you pronounce that, Sheila?
I'm trying to look for it here.
Stokesdale?
I have no idea.
Stogsdill.
Stogs.
That was one of the sergeants there that you're going to see in one of those pictures standing there. In fact, he's the one in one of those pictures that, you've got 4 or 5 troopers in raincoats, working troopers because they've got their raincoats on. And then you've got one trooper standing there with a winter coat on, just a winter jacket with the little fur around the collars like I used to have a brown one like that because I was a sheriff's department. So that's what he's got on. He don't have a raincoat on because he's a sergeant. He's a supervisor. He's don't plan on getting out of that car very much. So he don't have a raincoat on. And that would have been Sergeant Dole Stodgedales. Next to him in one of those photos was Unit 698, Alan Lewis. And then there was 458, Earl Beatty. Now, this is the names that we've come up with that's in some of those pictures where we're trying to identify people in the newspapers. And there's various pictures. And then there's 1182, which was Johnny Phelps. 1181, Jimmy Phelps. That mustache aggravate me death going up my nose. And then there was Unit 656, Sam Durham.
Yeah, I remember that name.
Guys, Lieutenant Colonel Asher says it was a S side and overwhelming. Not true. Right. In fact, from what we're finding out, more troopers felt that it was the other way. that it was a homicide. We have one today tell us one of the oldest tricks in the book, planting a gun on somebody to make it look like a homicide. That's one of the oldest tricks, and he's right. He's correct. One of the oldest tricks in the books. You know, if you want to make something, you just kill somebody and you want to make it look another way, just throw a gun down there. And there's dirty cops that's done that throughout the years. Throwaway gun. They shoot somebody that didn't have a gun. They'll give them one. Not right, but it happens. And these troopers are correct. That's one of the oldest tricks in the book. More troopers who have never doubted that Johnny Edrington's death, Trooper Johnny Edrington's death, was a homicide.
Yeah.
Guys, they're out there. It's not just Frankfurt at the time. It's not just the FBI. It's not just Dr. Vincent DeMayo, Dr. David Jones, Dr. M.E. medical examiners, David Jones, and medical examiners George Nichols. Planting a gun, one of the oldest tricks in the book to confuse the police. Trooper on scene. Rumors that it was another officer involved is nothing but rumors.
Yeah.
Trooper we talked to today, he's in some of those pictures. It's not something made up. He's there. He was on the spot.
Yep.
And it proves it from his pictures. And he says the rumors back then was vicious.
Yeah.
The rumors back then was untrue.
Yeah.
Nothing but rumors. You know, Sheila and I told you all along. That's what we found out also, just from the ones we've talked to so far.
Exactly.
Nothing but rumors. I'm just going to go ahead. The names are out there. So I'm talking about the rumors that were started on Jimmy and Johnny Phelps. Troopers. Detective and a trooper. Guys, we don't know them from Adam. Don't know them no more than we know anybody else, other than the first part of this video. You've probably seen where Jimmy Phelps sent us a check, just like the mayor of London sent us a check. So you got both sides there,
So
and
that's
we
right.
appreciate them both.
Other
than that little correspondence that we had with either one of those gentlemen during that ordeal, never talked to them before, never talked to them since.
Yeah.
Either one of them. But this trooper today, another one, says that it's rumors. Now, if anything ever changes and we find out something different, believe me, we'll be the first to let you know.
Yep.
But as of right now, he says those guys was unfairly accused. He actually said they done a good job, was a good troopers.
Yeah.
Had gone. Evidently, they call him Johnny E. Johnny E was what they referred to Johnny Edrington back then. And I imagine they done that, Sheila.
Because of the other. Yeah.
Just now hit me right now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Johnny E.
Yeah.
And that's why we think that some people got confused over some rumors when they was talking about the disturbance at Post. Some people mistook that to think that was Johnny E. and Jimmy Phelps. From what we can find out, it had nothing to do with Johnny E. It was to do with another deputy sheriff and so on a totally different subject. But they referred to him as Johnny E. And this trooper said that there was another trooper that was working Rockcastle County that night, just a couple hours before Johnny E. was found deceased. And another trooper was working Rockcastle County. And that a robbery call came in. There was a robbery, and they were supposed to be on the lookout for a car. And the other trooper was looking for the car or had called in or something. And this trooper says that without Johnny E., been dispatched by a sergeant without anything being said, without that he took off to assist that other trooper.
Exactly.
The other trooper's the only one that was out in Rockcastle County at the time. And Johnny E took off to help that other trooper. Now we're going to try to make contact with the other trooper and hopefully hear from him. And this trooper says, why would a man contemplating S side be worried about another trooper and his safety to take off without even being told by a supervisor? He knew that he might need some help because it was an armed robbery. We are going to try and make contact. I done said that. This trooper here, he saw when he arrived on the scene, which was just a few minutes later, he saw tire marks in the gravel, just like in the other report there that we read the other day. He saw fresh tire marks where somebody had spun out, and then they hit the blacktop. You know, it reminds me of that movie, My Cousin Vinny. Any of you seen it? How are you've been hostile? Are you trying to be a hostile? Yeah. Can I treat her as a hostile
You
witness?
think I'm hostile now? No, kidding. That's from the movie.
Remember in that movie, if you saw it, where they're spinning out in the gravel, and then it hits the hardtop road, and then it was either one track or two tracks, positive traction or not, I don't remember. But,
yeah.
And that's what you had there. But now you got to remember, it started to rain. It was raining. When they first got there, it was, according to this trooper, the rain was just starting to start. Johnny was in the ditch where they found him.
Yeah.
Flashlight, so forth, like we've gone over.
Just like we said, yeah.
We're not going to cover everything.
Everything, yeah, we don't want
to. But he saw the tar marks in the gravel and on the road. Questions on the flashlights were correct, but he's confirming that. Mine and Sheila's questions about a flashlight. Why would he have the flashlight there? To hold a flashlight so he could see the S side? Exactly what this fellow said. Felt the same way. He's felt the same way, him and other troopers, since that night. That it was not a S side. It seems like it's only Colonel Asher so far that we've talked to that confirms that they feel that it was an S side. Colonel Asher's the only one that's in his book, because he said it was unanimous, and we know it's not unanimous now because there's at least one, and we haven't got to talk to the other two. We'd like to talk to Detective Larry Lewis, and we'd like to talk to Detective Johnny Phelps. We would very much like to talk to you guys and get your insight, get your opinions, pick your brain. Because it's there, because this guy here, just like others that we've talked to, it touched him.
Yeah.
Touched his heart. Affected him.
It really did.
Coming up on a fellow trooper. Find them like that. Seeing it. You know, police officers work suicides, we work homicides, we work all that stuff, but when it's one of your own laying there in a gray uniform, you're thinking, that could have been me. A lot of these guys look at it and think, that could have been me laying down there in that gray uniform. Trooper today asked even, and we've asked that on here, Sheila, if it was you, would the same rumors have been started about them? Would the same things that's been wrote in this book 35 years later be written about them? Had that been them? Said it makes them wonder.
Yeah.
About all that. Had it been them instead of
Mr. Edrington.
Guys, we're here to stay. When we talk to people like that, we're here to stay. We're going to solve, not us, the good Lord.
Good Lord will do it in his own
time. The good Lord, through people like this, people like these other detectives and people active law enforcement officers, not state police. State police hasn't reopened the case yet. State police hasn't appointed nobody. I won't go and get on this, but I will. But just like when Sheila and I found that body after us searching 6 days and begging the state police for 5 days to go follow those birds, nobody was interested until the day that we found that body. And then, whoa, they was all over it. Man, I bet they was 100 troopers there at the top of that hill when we come up.
By the time we got to the top of the hill, they were a
After the two
bunch.
followed us down when they heard Sheila say she smelled something. What's going to happen here on this case, Commissioner Burnett? What's going to happen on this case when this case is solved? It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be embarrassing to you. Are you going to get back on TV again and say, state police has solved this case? Are you going to do that again? Or are you going to stand up and say, we didn't think nobody ever solved it. We didn't think it's never going to go nowhere. We've had it for 36 years. And guys, the good Lord is going to solve this case.
Yep.
Johnny was working 4 to 12 that day. He come on at 4 o'clock. Trooper Beatty, was to get off at 2 o'clock in the morning. He come on at 10 o'clock. He was to get off at 2 a.m. He got off work at 2 a.m. But they soon called him back out. They called him back out because Johnny Edrington, Johnny E, is missing. He come back out to look for him. He's running up down the roads. They gave a attempt to locate. ATL, all points bulletin, APB, everybody. We're missing a trooper. Trooper Beatty finds them. Other troopers hear them on the radio. I found them. West 80. 10-7. 10-7 means out of service. He's out of service. Is he out of service because he's quit? Because he's done gone home? Is he out of service because he's deceased? 10-7. We use that a lot when you're up on an accident scene and you got accident victims inside the vehicle or thrown out and they're deceased. You tell dispatch, get the coroner en route. 3 of them's 10-7. They're dead. And he hollered and told dispatch that Johnny E, Unit 365, is 10-7. One of the supervisors comes over and asks, accident or gunshot? Trooper Beatty says, gunshot. The cavalry starts arriving. His fellow troopers starts arriving on the scene to see what they seen. What was described to us as horrific scene.
Yeah.
Guys, we've done put on the front of this video about a reward. We need people to come forward. We need people to help, encourage ever who knows what happened that night to tell it. It's time to tell it. It's time to solve this case. You know who you are, and you know that you can solve this case. When that between Jimmy Phelps, John Phelps, the mayor of London, business people, the Kentucky State Police, whatever the organization is that offered the $50,000 reward back then, and it very well may be still active. But if it's not still active, we're asking the state police, whatever unit that is in the state police, to reactivate that 50,000. We're asking for people to make pledges to a reward. And let's get this reward out there in the newspaper. Let's get this out in the media. If you know anybody, YouTubers or TV shows, news groups,
yeah,
Get them involved in this case. This case needs attention because the state eventually, guys, Fred and Sheila's done all we can do, and all these people that's helping us. We need, and we have active police officers, but we need more. We need more involvement, and we need to solve this case.
Mm-hmm.
And we believe that at this point, money might be the motivator. Money and conscience might be the motivator. So, if anybody knows anything about it, and you know enough to have somebody charged and convicted, stay tuned,
Mm-hmm.
because the motivator may be coming. Your conscience may be working on you, and you might be saying, "Hey, I'm going to help on this. I've been wanting to tell somebody this, but I've held back." But if I knew I could do it and nobody would bother me, and I could move out of the area and I could start a new life and I could just go,
Mm-hmm.
then hang on, because it might be coming with the help of these people we're talking about. And the reason I mention these guys, because Jimmy Phelps, from what I can understand, is in charge of
Crime Stoppers.
Crime Stoppers,
Uh-huh.
and the mayor is just he's just there for the community, and so is Jimmy. I'm not, again, guys, we gave it a speech at the beginning. We are
Uh-huh.
not political one iota. Both of these guys were good to us. We have nothing bad to say about either one of them. We're hoping that they help us again.
Mm-hmm.
We're hoping that they get these rewards out there. Let's get any business person in London, Laurel County,
That can donate.
Corbin, Somerset, anywhere around here. That guy worked your counties. Johnny E worked your all's counties. Rockcastle, Clay County. We're not going to drag this video out. And we probably won't have a time tonight to put the newspaper pictures. You can go back through those newspaper pictures from our past. And Sheila and I's got some more research to do. We're really going to bring something out here pretty soon.
We're working on it.
Yeah. And but go back and look at some of the older videos, and you'll see some of the names that we just called out a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we're going to try to make contact with one of them,
Uh-huh.
and another one. Sheila, what you got? You ain't said a word, I don't believe.
I know. I'm good. I think I'm coming down with flu again.
Yeah, Sheila's got the flu. She's got the flu, but that's okay. We well, we was out early this morning.
Yeah.
We got out early in that morning. But she does that every morning. She's been
Yeah,
substitute
I've
teaching,
been
so
working, so that's, I think that
but
more than
we got
average,
out a
so,
little bit earlier than that
yeah.
today. Maybe that dew or night air.
Who knows? But it's all good.
Guys, we need your help.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, guys. Hope you're having a great evening. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next
Hey, look, my new coffee cup. Somebody said that my coffee cup looks so bad. That's about 50 years old.
one.
Got a new coffee cup.
Yeah.
So,
It
look at
works good.
Sheila's. Well, Sheila got one too.
Mine was beat up. So it's been dropped so many times.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. God bless.
God bless. And maybe God's going to bless everybody on this case, and he's going to bring her home.
Let us-
We're going to find
yep.
out what happened to Johnny E.
So we can
Yep.
give the family some
Much deserving family that's been in
peace.
since this book come out, especially.
Yeah.
And it's very upsetting. Yeah, I don't know why Colonel Asher didn't think about that before he
He did. That's
wrote that in
confusing.
the book after all these years. It was bad enough that it came out when it came out, but to do it again 35 years later with and then say you're friends with the family, dear friends with the family. Wow.
All righty.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.